Right, today we're going to be looking at the story of Joseph. And I sort of struggled to work out how we could fit the bit that I wanted to do into 15 minutes, but I think we might have managed it. We'll see. I've sort of got back to the beginning of the Bible, having finished Malachi. I'm in Moses now, but when I was thinking about this to start with, I was reading the story of Joseph, and I thought it was a really good object lesson for us, particularly in lockdown, because Joseph spent a lot of his time in lockdown, it seems. So I thought that would be good. I've asked the children to do a bit of reading of the story, and I'm not sure who's doing what and whether I need to do any bits as well, but we shall soon find out. Now, if you're following this in your Bibles, it's Genesis chapter 37. That's where it starts, and then there's a funny bit about Judah and Tamar, and then you skip over to chapter 39 and 40, and it's those three chapters which we're going to try and fit into a very short amount of time. So let me just quickly set the scene. We've got Joseph is Jacob's favourite son, and we're going to hear a little bit about maybe the lack of wisdom with which Jacob, his father, showed how much he loved Joseph more than his other brothers. And let's have a little. I think that's the Smiths have got this one.
Jacob had 12 sons. That's right, 12. His favourite son was Joseph. Jacob spoiled him and gave him special gifts, like a beautiful coat decorated with many colours, reds and greens, blues and yellows, purples and pinks. Joseph was as bright as a rainbow and as proud as a peacock. Joseph's older brothers did not like this one bit, but what they hated even more were Joseph's dreams.
I had a dream last night,
boasted Joseph.
Oh no,
groaned his brothers.
I dreamed that we were all bundles of wheat, and guess what happened? Your bundles of wheat bowed down to mine, and bowed down and worshipped mine. I had another dream.
Joseph bragged.
Go on.
His brothers sighed.
I dreamed we were all stars, and guess what? Your stars bowed down to mine, just as if I were your king.
It didn't take long for Joseph's brothers to grow tired of this, but that's no excuse for what they did. The next time they were out of Jacob's sight, they grabbed Joseph, tore off his colourful coat, and dropped him down a dry well. They were just about to kill him, in fact, when they spotted a cloud of dust at the edge of the hill. It was a band of traders bound for Egypt, their camels loaded with goods for sale.
Why should we kill Joseph?
Asked one of the brothers.
When we can sell him to these traders and make some money for ourselves. He'll be sold as a slave in Egypt, and his foolish dreams will never come true.
20 pieces of silver. That's how much the traders gave them for Joseph. And when the traders had gone, the brothers ripped up Joseph's coat and dipped it in the blood of a goat and carried it home to their father.
Joseph is dead,
they told Jacob, and they showed him Joseph's coat, its long sleeves shredded, its beautiful colour smeared with blood. Jacob wept and wept, and Joseph wept too as the traders carried him far from home.
Fabulous reading, thank you so much. Okay, so that's the first bit of the story. Joseph's brothers were really jealous because his father showed how much of a favourite Joseph was. And I know that when we were little, my sister and I sometimes got a bit kind of jealous of my little sister because she seemed to get away with stuff when we didn't, and she sometimes seemed to get treats when we didn't, and we were quite mean to her actually sometimes. And there's a reason why jealousy is called the green-eyed monster, because it really affects things very, very badly. And in families, people actually can grow to hate one another when there's that jealousy, and when parents' love isn't shared out equally between the children. And Jacob made it really clear, because every time they saw Joseph, they saw his lovely coat, which was a special coat. And I've asked the children if they don't mind wearing something special, a special present maybe from their parents this morning, if they were able to. I've got a special present from Nikki, my nice purple jumper, which is very soft and cuddly and not moth proof. But I don't think it's got any holes in it yet. I've also got a hat which she got because I was getting a cold head, and she gave me a hat. So any of the children want to show us their clothes that they've got which are special, and just tell us who gave them and why they like it?
I got my Minecraft top because it's very colourful. There's red, white, green.
Lovely. That's brilliant, Toby. Thank you. Lily?
And I got this dress because I got it for Christmas, and my nanny made it.
It's beautiful. Really lovely. Josie, that's a lovely jumper you got there. Did someone give that to you?
Yeah, it's a dress.
It's a dress, is it? Oh, I couldn't see the bottom bit. Oh, yes, there we go. Was that made for you as well?
Auntie Monkey gave it to me.
Oh, wow, that's lovely.
No, it was Granny Pippin. Oh, yeah.
Was it Granny Pippin? That's fabulous. Anybody else got some things that are special gifts from parents or whatever?
Imogen has a jumper on. You probably can't read it because it'll be back to front, I guess, but it says, "Darling, you're unique."
Yeah, I can see that.
Got her.
It's not back to front, actually.
Oh, that's what we got. India jumper. India's got her hoodie on that was brought by Nanny.
Oh, lovely. Love rules
Isabel
heart and soul.
Has got her hoodie on, which Imogen gave her.
Oh, wow. I can't see what that says.
Isabel's just says, "Bored angels."
Lovely. That's brilliant. And I wonder if in your families, if just one of you had been given a special gift and everyone else had been left out, how you'd feel about that. I think you'd feel a bit upset. I think I would. And that's how Joseph's brothers felt about Joseph getting this special coat, this lovely coat, which every time they saw him, they were reminded that Dad loved Joseph more than any of them. And it was a bit of a complicated family. I'm not going to go into all the details of it, but Jacob had 4 different wives. And Joseph was the son of his favourite wife. So they were sort of half brothers rather than whole brothers. And I think maybe some of us have got complicated families where things get a bit difficult to work out what's going on with all of that. So they, as you heard, they were going to kill him, but then they decided, no, we won't kill him, we'll make some money out of him. They made 20 pieces of silver out of Joseph, and they sold him as a slave to Egypt, where they thought they could get rid of him. They wouldn't be guilty of killing him, but they could actually get rid of him and he wouldn't trouble them anymore. And then the next part of the story comes, and we have some 40 Sindons who are going to tell us what happened there, and I'll see whether I need to do any reading for that one. When the traders took Joseph to Egypt, they sold him to one of the king's own soldiers, a man named Potiphar. He was kind, and Joseph worked very hard for him. So hard, in fact, that Potiphar put Joseph in charge of all his other slaves. Potiphar's wife, however, was evil and cruel. She told lies about Joseph and had him thrown into prison. Things looked bad for Joseph, It seemed as if his dreams would never come true, but God was watching over him. One morning, one of the other prisoners said,
I had a dream last night, a strange dream. I dreamed I saw a grapevine with 3 branches. Suddenly, branches of grape burst out of those branches. So I squeezed them into half, gave it to the king to drink. I wonder what it means.
Joseph listened to the dream. God listened too. Then he whispered the dream's meaning into Joseph's ear.
I know what it means.
Said Joseph.
Before you were sent to prison, you served wine to the king. Well, in 3 days you will be set free. Serve him wine once more.
And that's exactly what happened. When the wine server was set free, he promised to help Joseph get out too. 2 long years went by. Then one morning, the king of Egypt said,
I had one dream last night, a strange dream, and I can't work out what it means. I had a dream,
said his wine server.
I can tell you about your dreams.
And straight away Joseph was brought from the prison.
I was standing on the banks of the river
The king told Joseph,
when I saw 7 fat cows walk out of the water. They were chewing happily on the grass when 7 other cows joined them. These cows were bony and thin, and instead of eating grass, they ate the first 7 cows, but they stayed as skinny as ever. What can it mean?
God whispered into Joseph's ear. Joseph listened. Then he bowed and said,
Your Majesty, for the next 7 years, Egypt will grow many good crops and be as fat as those first cows. But after that, for another 7 years, hardly any food at all will grow. So unless you want your people to look like those skinny cows, you must store up food in the good years and use it wisely later.
The king was so impressed with Joseph's answer, he not only let him stay out of prison, he put him in charge of storing and saving and serving out Egypt's food. 7 good years were followed by 7 bad. And after the king, Joseph became the most important man in Egypt. It was like a dream come true. Wow. So that's 3 chapters of the Bible squeezed together into one short bit. And if you know the story well, you know they've missed a few little bits out here and there. So Joseph, he's been hated by his brothers, he's been sold as a slave to Egypt. He comes to Potiphar, and slowly Potiphar trusts him. He puts him in charge of his whole households. And Joseph is doing well. I wonder how he felt. I wonder if he felt, well, maybe this isn't going to be so bad after all. And then when he's trying to do the right thing, he gets accused wrongly and put in prison on false charges. In a dungeon, in a pit, it says in the Bible. There's no hope of ever getting out of there. I wonder how you'd have felt. All your hopes are raised and then dashed again. I wonder if he hated the woman who accused him wrongly. I wonder if he hated his brothers for what they did to him, selling him as a slave. He could have spent time in prison plotting and scheming and just thinking about revenge in the future. And if you read chapter 39, you'll see that Joseph is guided by his respect for God. he says, this would be a sin against God for me to do that. He wants to honour what God says. And time and again through chapter 39 in particular, it says that God was with Joseph and he made everything that he did prosper. It comes up 3 times in chapter 39. So now he's in prison, and it seems that again in these chapters that God was close to him. He slowly gained the trust of the jailer, and he was put in charge of many things in the jail, even as a prisoner. And because of that, it wasn't quite so bad, and he was able to go and serve the other prisoners. And during that time he heard that 2 of them had had dreams, and he knew that from his own experience that God can interpret dreams. Sometimes dreams mean things, and he could interpret them. And one man has his dream interpreted. It doesn't say in the Bible that he promised to let Joseph free or tell anybody about him, but Joseph does ask him. He said, please remember me when you get out of jail. But 2 whole years went by and he heard nothing. I wonder if his hopes went up again and then down again. In fact, for the whole time, it says he started off at the age of 17 being sold as a slave, and it wasn't until he was 30 years old that he was released to speak to Pharaoh. That's 13 years as a slave and in prison. And that can do horrible things to people. If you've ever read The Count of Monte Cristo, you would know that he spent his whole time, which is about the same amount of time, plotting revenge, which is what the rest of the book is about. But it doesn't seem as if Joseph did that. It doesn't seem as if Joseph gave in to hate. Instead, Joseph just faithfully trusts God. So God was with him. And we've already seen that Joseph honours God in everything that he does. And because of that, God blesses him. And he also blesses him because he's one of his chosen people. And I think we can think, well, God, we're part of God's chosen people. We know that God is with us, even when things feel really hard. And I know for many of us, things have felt really, really difficult at the moment for all sorts of different reasons. But God is with us. He's chosen us. We're his people. We're his special friends. And also, Joseph is careful to honour God in the way he lives. In the Bible it says, there's certain things. The eyes of the Lord are towards the righteous, and his ears toward their cry. The face of the Lord is against those who do evil, to cut off the memory of them from the earth. When the righteous cry for help, the Lord hears and delivers them out of all their troubles. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. That's Psalm 34. And in James 4 it says, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Submit yourselves, therefore, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. So there's a promise there in the Bible that when we come before God, sometimes we need to come in repentance and say sorry for the things we've done wrong. Sometimes we just need to draw near to God and ask him to come draw near to us, to be humble, not to start having a go at God, although God's perfectly capable of listening to our upset and our shattered dreams and comforting us in that. But actually that's not the way really to draw close to God. We need to humble ourselves before him. And sometimes we need to say sorry and spend some time in his presence and trust him, just like Joseph did. And if we've got hatred in our hearts, if we've got jealousy, if people have done bad things to us in the past, we need to ask God to help us to forgive them and to let those things go. I'm just thinking of somebody I've spoken to who had quite a lot of disappointments in the last couple of years. But when you speak to them, I don't want to embarrass them, when you speak to them, the overwhelming thing that you get is that they're thankful to God for all sorts of blessings that they've received from him. And if we can cultivate a spirit of thankfulness to God, even when things are bad, there's so many good things that God has given to us. Count our blessings. Then that's another way that we can draw near to God and be blessed by him. So I'm just going to say a little prayer. As we'll find out in future weeks, Joseph didn't hold on to the revenge and the desire to hate people and not forgive them, but actually he let all of that go and he forgave what had been done wrong to him. Let's just pray. Lord, I just ask for everybody here this morning, Lord, that if there are things in our hearts which are to do with hatred and unforgiveness and bitterness because of the things that have been done to us, and we need to forgive because they're really bad things that have been done to us, Lord, I just pray that you'll help us to forgive those who have done us wrong, and Lord, to humble ourselves before you, because we've done so much wrong to you, but Lord, you forgive us. Lord, I just pray that you'll help us to forgive others, and Lord, that you'll help us to draw near to you, to lay aside those things which we've put up as barriers between us and you, in whatever way that we've done that. And Lord, we just ask that you will draw close to those of us who are feeling far from you, feeling abandoned, feeling upset, and Lord, that we will hear from you and be blessed by you. Thank you that you love us. Thank you that you're sustaining us through this. In Jesus' name. Amen. I've just got a couple of songs and we're going to move into communion where John and Diane Nichols are going to lead us. But there's one song that I'm hoping you know some of these songs, but I don't know actually. So if you don't know, then just listen. Here we go. Bless you.